Hi guys! Today we're talking about dating a guy who has severe hearing loss. I'm speaking from experience. I'm telling you my experience with my current boyfriend, Chris. I'm not gonna tell you that dating someone who's deaf is just like dating anyone else, because frankly it's not. There's a lot of things that are very different about it. First thing you'll notice, if you get into a conversation with somebody who is hard of hearing and you don't speak very clearly, or you speak fast, or you have a high voice, or you're soft-spoken, any of those things, you're gonna have to repeat yourself probably every sentence you speak. That's the first thing you'll notice. That's the first thing you will get used to. At first, sometimes for some people it can be annoying, but sometimes people understand right away. And I was one of those, I understood right away, you know, like, he literally can't hear me. It's my fault now because he's doing everything he can. Honestly, I'll tell you right now, he's doing everything he can. It's time for me and everyone around him to step up. If you don't have that mindset, you're probably not going to last long in the relationship, because they are doing everything they can or everything they want to. You're not really entitled for them to get hearing aids or a cochlear implant if they're eligible for them. You're not really entitled for them to do that because it is their life. So you kind of have to suck it up and step up and do what you can to communicate with them better. Now with my boyfriend, he wears hearing aids, so I don't need to learn sign language or anything like that, which is good because I'm terrible at learning languages. English is probably the only language I'm ever going to be good at, and probably eventually sign language, because it is projected he will lose all of his hearing eventually. Hopefully not, and hopefully if and when he does, it'll be way down the line, but it could be as early as 20 years from now. So eventually I'm going to have to learn it, and I'm going to have to learn it well, but that's something he and I can do together. Because he doesn't know it either. He knows like maybe 2 things. I know some of the alphabet bullshit and fuck off. That's all I know. But those aren't very important things, especially when you're going to be talking to your, husband. He probably would be at that time. That's the first thing that you have to get past, is the whole thing where everything's on you now. You have to step up. And that's hard for some people. For me, it's hard every once in a while when I get really frustrated, but, once my wheels start turning, I'm like, okay, really, it's my turn to step up. He's doing everything he can to hear me, so if he doesn't hear me, that's on me. And sometimes I get frustrated, sometimes I lash out. I am human, I do have anger issues as well, so, as long as you apologize and you get past it and you're usually fine, it'll be okay, but that's probably the biggest part, is just understanding that by itself. So the next thing is bedtime. This is the weirdest part. If you've ever spent the night with anybody else, it'll be very weird for you to get used to not being able to talk to them very easily once you get in bed. Once you get into bed, his ears come out. So in order to talk to him, you gotta be like, cheek to cheek, like yelling in his ear. So it's not very easy. So having a conversation after it's established bedtime probably isn't gonna happen. Another thing that I don't think anybody really thinks about is alarm clocks for people who can't hear. It was the weirdest experience for me because it's not what I was expecting at all. He's got this thing that has a clock and all that. It does have a sound. It gets extremely loud, but the main feature of it is it has this little thingy that you stick under your bed and it vibrates the whole bed and wakes you up. It is the weirdest thing ever. It tripped me out so bad. So, that's something you can chuckle about for a little bit, because they're probably going to be used to it unless they just lost their hearing. But, he's been dealing with it his whole life, so he's used to it. So then with me going like, what? When I get shook awake by the bed, it's kind of like, sucker, you're not used to it. It's kind of a little joke. It's kind of fun. And after a while you get used to it, and then you're like, how's it like having something that just yells at you to wake you up, instead of shaking your damn bed? That's something to get used to. Another thing is showering together is not very fun because you can't talk. He doesn't have his ears in. So you can't really have a conversation. You can't really do much of anything except, you know, I can't wink, you already know that if you watched my trailer, but winky winky, you can do that just fine. But anyways, another thing is when you hug them, if they have hearing aids, with Chris's hearing aids, not all hearing aids squeal, his do. His do bad. Like you can have your hand like here, or sometimes even here, or just something there. Sometimes his coat will do it, and it'll just like go kind of a sound. Super annoying. I think it's probably more annoying for me than for him, because I don't think it's as loud to him, but you can hear it, and you feel bad, because you're like, oh, I'm making his ears squeal, that's awful. I feel like a bad person now, but, you know, it happens. You just have to be aware of it. My grandma, she had hearing aids. I didn't know her, she died before I was born. And every time you hug somebody with hearing aids that squeal, they will squeal. And, you know, whenever somebody apologized, she'd be like, oh no, it's okay, that's the sound of love. I just think that's so cute. I really do. I think that's adorable. It happens. If you have anything near it, it'll happen. And it's annoying. Why would that not be annoying? Like, oh, she's hugging me and my ear won't stop squealing. Cool. So thank you for watching. Have a great day. If you liked it, like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, I would appreciate it if you told me why so I can make my videos better. Catch you later.